Hi.
Oh,
Hello.
everyone.
Hello.
Hello. It's been a while, you ladies, right? It's been a couple weeks
Yes.
since
Too
we've
long.
gathered. For those of
Yes.
you that have joined us, thank you for being here. If you've joined us before, you may notice that there are three of us today, and there's usually four people. Unfortunately, Denise won't be with us this evening because she is dealing with a family emergency. But Denise, we know you're here in spirit. We love you, and
We love you.
we send you all the support possible. Let's send her a virtual hug.
Yes.
Virtual hugs.
Virtual hug. Okay, so I'm Patia and I'm with the Stylista Group. I'm one of the producers of Brand Rewind, and I'm coming to you live from Harlem. And it is a warm 83 degrees, but very rainy. So warm and wet, not really a good combination. All right, Marika, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this week. I am Barika Phillips-Bell, and I'm with B3 Media Solutions, and I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, California, where it is a nice 73 degrees outside, nice and beautiful and sunny. Zoe, how's it in Canada?
Hello from the T dot. Hello. I am I am comfortable inside. I went running for the last 2 days, including shorts and a t-shirt, and today I did not. That will give you a hint.
Okay,
Got you.
not
So
so
I'm
warm.
Zoe. Yes, I'm Zoe, number 3 tonight. My company is Sharp Processes, and as you heard, I'm in the T dot, aka Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So
Okay.
welcome and thank you for coming and joining us this evening.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So we usually like to kick things off with talking about a national or global recognition day. And today, this was a new one for me. I didn't know this even existed. Today is National Pan American Day, and it commemorates the first international conference of the American states. And you guys, this has been going on since April 14, 1890, over 100 years. Never heard about it until
Never
today.
heard of this.
Well, I've never heard of this
Never heard of this.
holiday.
Never. Nobody's taught this in school. It's not in the history books, at least not the history books that I read. But
Not mine either.
it's definitely a nice, like, solid one. Anyway, so they actually have some recommendations of what you should do on this day, and I like them. I think this is something that I would do going forward now that I know about it. So they're recommending that you pick a country in the Western Hemisphere and learn about it, a country you don't know about. Learn how to cook the recipes, their national recipes, discover how their government works, or learn about their heritage and culture. I definitely think that this is something that I may actually, take seriously because it's been going on for so long. Most people don't know about it. And it's a nice, solid one. I like this one. Some of them
Yeah.
are kind of like trendy and silly, but this
Mhm.
is actually one that has some meat and potatoes behind it. So I
I
just
like
thought that
that
I
one.
would, I would share that.
I'll
No, I
join you
like
in that celebration.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really, really good one.
I
Okay,
think we
so
should do a
on
trip.
that, yeah, a trip.
Yeah, a
That would
trip.
be
A
great.
brand rewind trip.
Yes, a brand rewind trip. I'm for that.
That
I'm
would
all
be
for that.
amazing. That would be amazing. Good recommendation, Zoe. Okay, so on that note, let's hit the rewind button and take some lessons from some of the wins and fails of brands that we have been observing over the past couple of weeks. What can we all learn from these experiences? The good, the not so good, things that we probably shouldn't do ourselves. So let's kick it off with you, Zoe. What do you want to talk about to start this segment?
Okay, so I had to choose this one. I know it's all over the media, everybody's talking about it, but I start the segment with a quote. Michelle Obama said, "When they go low, we go high." And that is exactly what the US Supreme Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson has had to do for the last few months. So, those unfamiliar with her story, she is, since February, the first Black woman nominated to the US Supreme Court since 230 odd years of its
Wow.
existence.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So
That
from the moment she was nominated, though, the attack started. The attack started asking for things like her LSAT scores. And it's ridiculous because she's a double graduate cum laude from Harvard.
Right.
She clerked at every level in the US court system, including the
wow.
Supreme Court. And she has more experience than any single judge serving currently on the bench.
Absolutely.
So, part of the process of being a candidate, she had to go through these confirmation hearings. So, for those of you who don't know, I encourage you to go on YouTube and go and watch them. I personally had to turn most of them off. I actually could not watch most of them They were back-to-back days of attacks and attacks on her work as a judge, attacks on her work as a lawyer. And honestly, as much as she was able to hold it together, I want you to watch these clips because talk about branding and talking about staying on brand. She remained calm. I don't know how she did it, but she remained calm. And the most we saw was what you're watching right now. That is the most that we saw. She remained professional, neutral, and stayed self aware throughout all of these days of
Beautiful.
constant people talking over her, attacking her work, interrupting what she was saying, irate, yelling, carrying on, and she didn't flinch. And
Wow.
I had to highlight it because to be a judge, you have to remain neutral,
Right.
professional, and self-aware at all times. And she just exemplified what that means as a brand. And I wanted to really raise it because she had the pressure during this week of the heaviness of not just representing women, but Black and minority women. On top of that, she didn't get a break. This was back to back to back. And, this is from on YouTube and social media platforms. And she remained professional. She
The whole
maintained
time.
her composure. And the other thing is, and you can see in this beautiful picture with her and her daughter, and watching her in the background,
That was
so
amazing.
many children were watching.
Yes.
Representation matters. Look at the pride on her face, looking at her mother. Like it was just
beautiful. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, it was like unequivocally, she is definitely the right person for the job.
Yeah.
She earned it over and over again. I think we saw it on display of what it takes to be in that role and its importance of maintaining your brand no matter what. So I kick it to you, ladies. Would love to hear what you say, what you're thinking, Barika, Patia.
I definitely have to say the moment when I saw that picture of her daughter, like, and the pride that her daughter felt for her, like, that's something like, as I know we are all mothers and we have daughters, like that moment is like something that you will cherish for the rest of your life. Your mother has done something great, like, and there was no more qualified candidate than Ketanji.
Yeah.
So for her, for them to have berated her and attacked her relentlessly was just, I just thought it was just so out of character for how a senator, how a representative should handle themselves. But we live in a world where things like that are okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what I was about to say, Barika, before, sorry to interrupt you, but one of the graphics that we should have shown was her path to this. She's the only one that has a clear linear path to where she is today. And yet and still she had to go through this.
Yeah.
That diagram was trending all over social media. You guys can Google it and look it up. I mean, it's just amazing that, in spite of the fact that she's the only one where you could see a clear path, she still had to endure this. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, she deserves it. And I'm so happy that, that was finally given to her because to have worked that hard and you're so right about that graphic. Like, I wish we had gotten that graphic, but to have worked that hard, like to have gotten there, she totally deserves this confirmation.
Absolutely. And for all the little girls or women looking on, right? Firsts are amazing, but it also, the power of representation and seeing yourself in somebody else, right? This means that, years from now, we should have 10 people like her because she was the first one who was able to accomplish this. So, yes, definitely a very inspiring story.
Yeah. I just wish it didn't take 200 years to have gotten there because honestly, I think that is what a lot of people are discussing online. It's like, why did it take so long? Was it that she was the only person that was that qualified at this time, like throughout the history of Supreme Court justice? And it's not.
No,
but
and it also speaks to the fact you don't even need all those qualifications. She's the only one on the bench.
Exactly.
It should never, to your point, take that long.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
But
exactly.
That was great. I had to share that story. I know everybody's talking about it, but it's right here for me.
Same.
I think for all of us.
No, that's awesome. So our next segment is called Rip from the Headlines, and I'm going to throw it to Barika.
Okay, guys. So as we go through our brand fails and we just had a high, I have to take you a little low. So once again, Applebee's is in the news, and this time it's because of a leaked email that came from a regional manager at a casual dining chain, Applebee's, of course, and his email actually got put on Reddit and then Facebook. Now, what happened is he basically said to the workers in his email, team, everyone has heard that gas prices continue to rise. The advantage this has for us is that it will increase application flow and has the potential to lower our average wage. Now, gas prices are crazy right now all over the country. I'm sure in Canada, they are crazy. But to use that as a way to get more applicants and then to put that in an email in a way to get more people to apply and send
Terrible.
that out, to your team, like, come on now. You have to think about it before you act. That was mean. That was also something that I think is a little classist.
Right.
Because you're saying that people need money, and so he was fired. Thankfully,
Yeah.
Applebee's took the action of removing him from his office. But I mean, like, thinking about like how businesses are now thinking about workers because of the gas prices, do you think that that's a rampant thought process that a lot of executives might have because of the fact that gas prices are high and maybe now people will go to work?
I
And
hope not. I mean, this is just really ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I would hope that, nobody else is thinking that way. I mean, oh,
luckily, the brand came out and said that,
yes.
this was the opinion of one individual that was fired from the company. And
Mhm.
that wasn't the way that the brand actually thinks about their employees. But, as we talk about in Brand Rewind, it's so important how you treat your employees, how you think about them, how you write about them, because your employees are what keep you alive. That they are the
Exactly.
workforce. Like for me, I love my employees because they help us build what it is that we're trying to accomplish and do. So I am glad that the chief operations officer took the move to remove him from the company and to
Absolutely.
apologize to the employees and to everybody that read it on behalf of the company. So,
I think that action alone, the firing and the removal immediately, is
yes,
so important to gain that
Yes.
employee trust
Yes.
back.
Yes.
exactly.
So
Yes.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because a number of employees did quit behind that because they thought they didn't want to work for a company that would be
absolutely.
so insensitive to, what was going on economically and the financial hardship that it's caused. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you have, Patia? Come on.
Yeah. So
I'm hoping it's a little better. I'm hoping it's a
I'm going
little
to
better.
raise this back up with something a little bit more positive. So I'll read the actual headline because that's what grabbed my interest. And it says Oreo continues its LGBTQ plus allyship despite culture war against woke companies. And so the reason why I became interested in this article was because, many times brand do things and then based on the sentiment of either the public or what's going on in a particular industry, they may decide not to proceed because they're getting pushback. However, in this case, Oreo for over 10 years has continued to support LGBTQ initiatives in spite of the fact that it has gotten a lot of backlash over the years for doing so. So they recently released a short film called The Note, and in this film, they're actually showcasing the struggle and challenges of a young man who has to come out to his family. And this is part of a collaboration with PLFLAG National. And it's what they're doing is that they're launching a campaign called hashtag Lifelong Ally campaign, if you guys are interested. And this includes a $500,000 donation to the organization. Now, this is not the first time that they have partnered with this organization. This is actually the third year that they have done this. But going even further back, in 2012, which was the brand's 100th year anniversary, they also showed support by posting a cookie stacked high with rainbow colored icing, along with a comment, proudly support love. Now, they got a lot of pushback for doing this because it came amid the whole gay marriage debate at the time. Didn't stop them. They have continued to support these efforts. One of the initiatives that you guys may be familiar with was the Oreo Proud Parent short film. And in this short film, a young woman's father paints his fence with the rainbow colors in support of his daughter, who has come home with her partner and had been given some looks from the neighbors because they weren't, very supportive of her lifestyle. And, it just really gave me a warm feeling to know that this brand is really standing by what they believe in spite of the fact that other people may not agree with what, with their stance. It's not stopping them from sticking to their values, their mission, their support of these initiatives. And so I thought that I'd just share the Proud Parent Oreo clip with you guys so that you can see exactly what they've been doing over the years.
Did I do it right? I love you. Do you like it?
I love it. Oh, I just get the warm and fuzzies every time I see that, right?
Oh my God, I'm like over here tearing up.
I know.
That was
Trying
so-
not to- no mascara running live. No
I know.
mascara running live.
that was beautiful. I love it when brands are not afraid to stick to their guns and actually showcase what they believe in. Like there's so many brands that, are just performative allies, but this really showcases
that they really
know what we believe in this and we're going to back it up and we provide advertising because we support the community and I love it. It's beautiful.
It's a great initiative.
Yeah, it's so important right now. To your point, Barika, like the amount of performative brands going on and getting called out for it, it's intense and it's very important. And it really can be done so well, right? Like it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Yeah. I mean, and I think that it's something that anybody can relate to. Like it's just a father just trying to be there for their child, and so like it doesn't matter what your orientation is. So
right,
I love it.
Right. And what the neighbors say and what society says. And if you guys get a chance, you should look at the entire clip and you will see what led to that moment. There was a lot of neighborhood ugliness going on and he just decided, you know what, I've had enough and I'm going to support my kid, which, at the end of the day, that's what,
that's what matters.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, Zoe, what did you rip from the headline?
So I'm ripping one that actually is on par again. It's about another brand sticking to what they said they're going to do. Okay. DSW, so Designer Show Warehouse, is sticking to their brand. They promised to support minority-owned businesses as well as student designers in the footwear business. And what they did is they offered and delivered $2 million to the first Black-owned U.S. footwear factory, Gems by Pencil, which is located in Detroit.
Nice.
Canada. But like they stayed on brand, and not only is the brand getting the money, but the students are getting that avenue to show their work, which is fantastic, especially as students, right?
Yeah.
And I just think that's, again, it's just another example of when you're a brand, and especially as big as somebody like DSW, which is not only in the US, but they're also in Canada, it's sticking to your word, right? Stop empty promising and stand up and do what's right. And look how many people are going to benefit from it. So
that is fantastic.
Amazing. Yeah. I do have another story, though.
Okay. Here we go.
I do have another story. This one's not as nice.
Is this an airline story?
This is my airline story.
As always.
So this one is a tangly web, and it hasn't come to a full decision yet. But I wanted to highlight that brands need to be very careful. So right now, JetBlue and Frontier Airlines have bids on merging with Spirit Airlines. So it started off with Frontier doing it first. And then JetBlue decided to jump in and add a few more million to the offer to try and take Spirit as a merger, because they're fighting for the 5th position as the top airline in the US.
Wow.
So the thing to call out here, though, is all three had the worst customer complaints in 2021.
Wow.
Great.
The other side of this, though, which goes towards JetBlue's brand, is Frontier and Spirit had the industry's worst customer satisfaction ratings in 2021.
Yes.
So then you ask the question, should us as customers have to, trade off going for a low fare and getting a great experience or a poor experience from airlines that are merging that need to do a lot of work?
Right.
JetBlue has shown that at least they can get one out of the two right. So more to come, but this is why branding is very important. You got to take care of your brand.
I mean, it's like the blind leading the blind. Like, I don't know if they should all like get together. Like, maybe we should have like the number one airline join with the worst airline, because Spirit is known for being the worst airline ever.
Yes.
And Frontier is second. So
yeah. And that's exactly their order. Versus JetBlue has the 3rd best rating in customer satisfaction.
Well, maybe they could get together and look at. I would suggest that social listening be employed, and they take all the things that they hear from customers that need to be improved, and maybe they can work on that and then come up with a really good airline.
Yep. I would think so. I don't think why you have to, get a discount flight and sacrifice the experience.
Exactly.
Not a good look.
I agree. Maybe whoever wins is planning a big relaunch. This is why we're better campaign. They better be, because otherwise
they're gonna need a brand rewind.
A brand rewind, right? Maybe they're planning a brand rewind, you guys. We should keep following this, because we need to see how it all turns out.
Absolutely. So we're going to kick into our next segment. Our 3rd segment is called The More We Know. Yes. And I'm going to kick this off to Patia.
Yes. And so in this segment, we take a look to see if you guys have any questions and comments. And we have a little bit of dialogue before we say see you later for the evening. So one of the questions that I see is, how can a brand who hasn't formally been an ally to the LGBTQ plus community get involved? Zoe, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yes. The first one would be to align it with your strategy. Every company has a strategy. A lot of companies have an external strategy. What groups around you in the local community can you start with that need support? Finding those local communities is very impactful for not just your brand, but to your company and to the community that you're serving. A lot of times ERGs or employee resource groups or even employees can direct you with what matters to them. And I think that speaks to the values of the company as well. But I would definitely start there.
I would have to agree with that, as well as I think you touched on the employees. I've worked with a number of companies that have used their employees as ambassadors, because they found that their employees, they have a voice and they are part of the community. So involving them in the planning and involving them in even the content that you're going to put out, if you're doing things socially or if you're going to do events and things like that, making sure that they have a real stake and a say in the things that you're doing is going to be another good avenue to take with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's some excellent advice. Let me see if there's anything else going on. How does a leader recover after tarnishing their brand with their employees? How do you bounce back from that? Well, I think the first assumption is that they're still working there, right? In the Applebees example, he's no longer working there, so he has to do a lot of work on his personal brand so that somebody will hire him again, because for a while I'm going to assume that, he's probably going to be off limits because people won't want to be associated with him. But say it was something not so bad, well, whatever, and he wasn't fired, he was still a part of the organization. What would you guys recommend that somebody like this does to gain that trust? For me, it would be really hard, but I mean,
I mean, but even using the Applebee's example, like people left Applebee's, like workers didn't want to be there. So
Mhm.
like the leaders that are there now have to figure out a way to now attract people to want to be there. So I mean, like my advice is like you're going to have to start with the people that are still there and say what can we do for you, because they're going to be your strongest allies. Like
Advocate.
if you
Yep.
can get your employees to say no, he's gone, this is different, the world has changed here, they really do care about us, and they can be your ambassadors and kind of go out and tell your story for you, then I think that like I would start with them, honestly.
I would start with accountability and apology.
Yes.
If you're still in the organization, even if you're not the only leader that was involved in the problem, own it.
Right.
Own it.
Yeah.
I've heard
Yeah.
too many CEOs, executive leaders, whatever else, putting their foot in their mouth and then making the crucial, I'm sorry that you felt upset.
Right. No.
It's not, I'm sorry
No.
you felt upset. It's I'm sorry I messed up and I made
Exactly.
you feel.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Take that accountability, but apologize properly. And then the next part I would say is definitely upskill or grade your skills or learn. Like how did I go wrong? Because how are you going to prevent them
How
from
are you
doing
gonna,
it again?
yeah, how are you
Yeah.
gonna
Right?
avoid
Yeah.
And
the
then
same thing?
exactly what Barika was saying is repair. Like, how do I fix this? How can I fix this? But I think that's the starting points there, the first three. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Really good advice. Okay, you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this discussion. There's a lot to unpack here this evening, right?
Well, I mean, I think the bottom line was just that, you have to think before you speak. I mean, those
Yes.
are the things that we've learned.
Yes.
We definitely want to take away from the fact that, it shouldn't take 200 years for there to be first, but there are. And so we build from there, right? And we build and make sure that, it shouldn't take another 200 years
Yes.
for the next Supreme Court justice. But, whatever it is, it shouldn't take that long. And then I think the third thing that I learned from this, and this is all about Oreo, is that, standing on your brand values and showing that, like not being a performative ally, but actually like
Absolutely.
sticking to your guns and
No matter what. Yes.
no matter what, and going with that, I think proves your brand's values and proves why people love you. Because I'm going to go buy Oreos right now.
Absolutely. Right after we sign off.
Right after we sign off, Oreos.
So you guys, if you need a brand rewind or you know someone who can use our help, please shoot us an email at brandrewind@gmail.com.
Absolutely. And don't forget to follow us on your social medias, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Holla.
Holla. Thank you guys so much for being with us this week. And as a reminder, we do come to you twice a month. So mark your calendars for our next live, which will be Thursday, April 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. PST. And we can't wait to see you on the live stream.
Absolutely.
Take
Thanks
care
for
until
joining
then.
us.
Bye. Thanks for
Take
joining
care.
us.